Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. Your one-stop shop. Everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss a day of our coverage. Commanders getting ready, making their final preparations for Sunday's game against the Raiders. 1 o'clock kickoff at Northwest Stadium. It's going to be on Fox. Chris Myers and Mark Schlereth are going to be on the call. I was actually kind of surprised by that, and surprised by the fact that this game is getting such a small audience, although, with Jaden Daniels maybe not playing, I guess I can understand why. Commanders still a 3.5-point favorite, even with where Jaden is on the injury list. Did not practice on Wednesday, did not practice on Thursday. Marcus Mariota got all of the first-team reps, and I imagine he will get the lion's share, if not all of them, again later today, depending, of course, on when you are watching this. As for Jaden and whether he plays on Sunday, I still don't think he's going to. I think it would be a very good idea for him to take the week off. But, of course, that's not up to me. It's up to the medical team. I got a feeling they're going to wait until 11:30 when the inactives list has to be posted before they decide on Daniels playing or not. They're going to take him out there. They'll have him warm up. See how he's doing. Remember, Dan Quinn said he's got to hit certain markers that they've got for them, certain data points when it comes to doing different drills. If he can move well enough to complete them in a certain amount of time, then they will consider playing him. If not, he won't. And whether he is the backup quarterback or the emergency quarterback, that also remains to be seen. Remember, Mariota didn't get any time in the preseason either because of the fact that he was dealing with some Achilles tendonitis. And anytime you say the words Achilles and tendon, even if it has itis on the back of it, you got to be concerned about that. Still, if Mariota's healthy, I've got absolutely no problems with him playing this week. Guy's a former Heisman Trophy winner. He's a former first-round draft pick, and he played pretty darn good against Dallas last year in the second half, that last game of the season. Matter of fact, he brought him back and won the game. I think Marcus Mariota can operate this offense well enough to win the game. You don't want him playing the entire season, but for one game, yeah, got absolutely no problems with it. I don't even think the offense will miss much. Again, it's been a little out of sync here the first couple of weeks, so hey, who knows? Maybe it'll benefit from a changeup. So will Jaden play? Won't he play? It all really depends on how severe this injury is. And so I figured since I had a little bit of time today, I'd actually ask ChatGPT, when you say you have a sprained knee, exactly what does that mean? And can a sprained knee turn into torn knee ligaments? So it's interesting. It all depends on exactly how injured the knee got on that play. Now, if the tendons just got stretched, just got strained a little, if there are no tears, even microscopic ones, then conceivably Jaden could play this weekend, because if there is no tear, if it was just the fact that the tendon's getting stretched, that takes anywhere from a week to 3 weeks to heal. Well, by the time we get to Sunday, it's going to be 10 days, a week and a half. It's still pushing it, and I'd still rather see him sit this one out because I think the Commanders have a better overall roster than the Raiders. I think that even with the backup quarterback, they can beat the Raiders. I don't think Daniels would truly be the difference in this game. I think the roster is way better and easily can overcome, play up their advantages and beat the Raiders. I really believe that. I think it'd be much better to have him wait until next week in Atlanta. Again, that's if this, and they're describing this as like a grade 1 sprain. So, it is possible that by Sunday he is well enough to go. But still, even if the doctors say that he is, I think that he ought to sit it out. I think that would be the prudent thing because remember, you want him for the entire season, not just this game against the Raiders. Win or lose, it's not a make or break. What has to happen this week for the Commanders to win, and what might be the biggest key? I think it's the offensive line that just needs to play a lot better. Going back and looking at the tape from the Packers game, I think one of the things you notice is that I just don't think that Jaden was trusting his protection. and because of that, he was bailing out of throws or bailing out and taking off and running a little bit earlier, not letting the routes develop. But he didn't let the routes develop because I don't think he thought that he was going to have enough time in the pocket. Now, when you got Micah Parsons on the other side of the line, pretty easy to get that clock in your head to start speeding up. No knock on the offensive line and no knock on Jaden, obviously, for doing that. And aside from Max Crosby, I think he will have a little bit better time of it this week. And one would think that Cliff Kingsbury's offensive game plan is going to be to give whichever side Max Crosby lines up on, and presumably a lot of it's going to be the right side there where Josh Connerly Jr. is. I think, obviously the game plan needs to include a bunch of help from tight ends, chipping them coming off the line, to a linebacker staying in for protection a lot of times to add an extra body in there. All right, let's go ahead and hit the mailbag. As always, we are thrilled with all of your interaction here with the channel. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you for commenting. Before we get to today's comments, all right. Why don't, since this will probably be this will be our last new episode before the game, do me a favor, log on after the game, give me your thoughts on the Raiders game in the comments section. Some of the comments we got, shout out to John Strury, who said, sit him down, let him rest. We don't need another RG3. Absolutely agree with you, John. John also said we need to sit Connerly and play Wiley, Andrew Wiley, the rookie. Looked lost out there. Yeah, I do know that I understand that he looked like that. That he looked outmatched out there, John. But the only way he's going to get better is by playing against good competition. And I honestly think that Connerly is probably a better option than Wiley out there. I really do. Plus, you put Wiley out there and Crosby beats him a couple of times. Where do you go? So I say keep the kid in there, give him let him develop some confidence, let him figure it out. Again, with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, if that is the way they go, I think you've got a lot better chance of Connerly, having a little bit better day when we go there and look at we're able to look at the tape and look at the analytics. And I think with Connerly and some help out there with Mariota, I think you're going to see that he's going to have a better game than he did last week. Let's see. Vern Herman, 5811, and thank you, Vern. Zero chance JD5 plays. Give Connerly some help. Give Rodriguez at least 10 carries. Yeah, give somebody at least 10 carries. I think they got away from the running game way too quickly last week. Whether it is Rodriguez or Bill Merritt, you have got to establish the run early. Don't let Crosby and everybody else there pin their ears back and go. That's going to be the secret to beating the Raiders, which, by the way, I think they're going to do. Prediction, final score, I'm going to go 24-10 Commanders in this one. Ain't going to be like that every week, but this is one of those TCB games. Take care of business. Handle what you got to handle. Get to 2-1, and head on down to Atlanta next week. That's going to do it for us. Be back with an update for you and our instant analysis after the game. Remember, drop a comment what you thought about tonight's game in the comments section Sunday afternoon. We'll see you next week. Like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.